Hello, people. How you doing? Yes, I know. I did a video about it 30 minutes ago. It's a video day. I figure if I'm not going to do any writing, I should at least do a video or two. I was going to be on writing anyway, my writing part of my life. Just to talk about some of the projects I worked on last month. Why not? Anyway, I'm still trying to get the Hanukkah Carol, which is supposed to be a satire. I wrote it a while ago. At least I wrote the original version a while ago, about 10 years ago, thereabouts. I'm rewriting it on my blog site now. I'm writing it from my flash drive onto the blog site, which is what I'm trying to do with a lot of my stories that I wrote before I got a blog site. I had 139 of them before I had the blog site, so anyway, it is a satire on Charles Dickens's Christmas Carol. It is an actual Hanukkah story. It's supposed to be a fun story, and it's not one of those. It is a satire. I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed satirizing the fact that the Christmas. I'm not a Christmas person. He wasn't born in December, unless you could prove it to me both historically and biblically. I ain't doing it. Okay, I'm a Hanukkah guy. See the flag, Hanukkah. See the other flag? Where is it? Right there? Britain. That's where I was born. I was born in Britain. I'm a military brat, so I've been to a lot of places. But anyway, it is a satire, as I keep saying. It has a lot of the elements of a Christmas Carol, but it's also poking fun at Christmas Carol at the novel, and I like the novel actually. It's my second favorite Dickens novel, next to it, and after A Tale of Two Cities. So it's not that I don't like Charles Dickens and I don't want to be haunted by Charles Dickens. I actually wouldn't mind. Probably get some writer's tips or something. He's not a overly favorite English author, but he's one of them. I do like some of his stuff. I like his short stories and things. But anyway, I'm trying to get that done. I mean, I've been trying to get that thing done and rewritten for quite a while. It's not even funny how long I procrastinated on that idea, on that story. But anyway, I did get one. I did the short story Small Talk, which is basically a church-related story. It is an introvert trying to have a conversation with someone who wants to talk about small talk things, and he's an introvert. He doesn't do small talk. He doesn't like small talk. He's trying to talk about serious stuff, and it's just not working. He likes to talk about important things. He's not. See, I don't do small talk very well. I do it badly, very badly. I mean, I'm an introvert. I don't like small talk. I don't do small talk. The character doesn't do small talk. He tries. He's trying to. He's trying to do small talk. It's not an overly serious short story. Not really. It's not like some of my other church-related stories. It's just that it was just something fun to write. I forget what I was doing in November, and I needed a break. Oh, I was finishing up on on something I will discuss in a few minutes. I wrote this to relieve myself from what I just got done when I get to it. When I get to Falling Rain, that's the story that I had to take a break from. So I wrote Small Talk. The Wages of the Flesh, I just got that done. I just got that posted in my blog site. I will probably get an address of that where you can see it. It is basically the next story anyway. The next story I finally I posted 2 days ago. I finally finished. It is a story about the corrupting influence of pornography. It is also a story of the darker side of BDSM. It is a story about... It has a lot of layers to it. I don't want to give too much away because it isn't just about those 3 things, but it's more or less about the corruptive influence of the person that's created and the person that's trying to understand something. It is about 2 different people, of course. I'm not explaining this one. I'm trying not to explain too much without giving a lot of it away. But it is about pornography. It is about the BDSM community. It is about the darker side of BDSM. It is about what happens when you go too far and you snap, or you don't snap. You like it and you want to keep going that way. And someone else is being affected, and someone else is trying to help that person. And I've already had good reviews. I've already had some people tell me they like it. I've already had one person tell me they like the story, and she's a girl. She's a pony. She liked it, therefore it must be okay, despite the subject matter. I don't get too graphic on my stories a lot of times, and I try not to get too graphic in this one. I could have. I just didn't think it was necessary. They get overly graphic with certain aspects of the subject, or the subjects in this case. Wages of the Flesh. That has been, that was just on the 1st of January, it was posted. I like the story. So, in a lot of ways, it's the darker side of the story on the subject I already wrote. Handcuffs and bed knobs and handcuffs. That's the lighter side of BDSM. That's the more fun, lighter side. About a couple just trying to spice up the relationship. Always trying to, do something interesting with the relationship. Try to get it going. Why is the computer was acting funny? Bed knobs and handcuffs. It's in the blog site. Look for it. It's the lighter side. It was almost more fun to write than the Wages of the Flesh, because it was more fun. It was more interesting. A friend of mine thought it was something else and never finished it, but that's okay. I don't expect her to anyway. I'm still working on my 10-minute study in the Bible, church history, Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar, Genesis 16, 1 to 16, lecture 22. This is something I'm writing for a friend of mine. She wants to understand. She doesn't like how Hagar is treated. It really does bother her how Hagar is treated by Sarah and Abraham, and so on and so forth. So I'm writing this as sort of a way for her to understand the story. I'm trying to I'm learning stuff too. Anyway, but it's taking time. I take a lot of time in a lot of these things because I get either distracted, or I lose interest, or just not sure I'm going in the right direction with it. And I think it might be all three of those in this case. I like writing it. It's interesting. I am trying to flesh out. I'm trying to flesh it out so she understands why this event happened the way it did, because it bothers her how this happened. I mean, she knows who she is, Natalie. Anyway, it's about halfway done. It is about halfway done. I have finally got to get back to it. But it is one of my 10-minute studies, which is usually about. I try to keep it under 1,500 words. I try to. All my 10-minute studies are supposed to be under 1,500 words. All my commentaries, which is what I'm about to talk about now, is usually over 2,000 words. That in-between space, that 500-word in-between space, I don't know. Depends on what it is. But anyway, commentary on Jewish history, the coming of the whole Hellenistic philosophical revival of Judah, and the creation of Hanukkah. I've been working on that thing for way too long, and it should be done by now. It's called procrastination. It's called stupidity and procrastination. It's a longer commentary. It's going to be over 2,000 words. My commentaries are always over 2,000 words. However, if you look at my blog site, the original first few years or so of my stuff I wrote, everything was practically under 1,000 words. Almost everything was not what it is now. If you watch, you see the word count getting higher and higher. So I had to change certain things. I had to make some commentaries different than 10-minute studies. But anyway, this commentary is on the history of Hanukkah, history of the Hellenistic period, its influence on the Jewish people. It is fascinating, and it shouldn't be taking me this long to finish it, and it is. It's my own procrastination and my own fault. I mean, it shouldn't be taking this long. It's an interesting thing. A Hellenistic period, Jewish Hellenistic period is fascinating. Those years between, returning and when the Hellenistic period ended, which would have been pretty much when the Romans came and said, we're not going anywhere. But it is interesting. I find Hellenistic period interesting. I'm trying to find more books on the subject. I really don't find any books that really deal with it only and strictly. I find a lot of Jewish history books, just not books that really directly point to that. But then again, maybe I'm looking hard enough. But then again, all that looking is probably why it's taking me so long to write it, because I'm procrastinating, and I shouldn't be procrastinating. I mean, I like the subject. I mean, it is about Hellenistic philosophy, its influence on Jewish culture and the people, and the Hanukkah story. The Hanukkah story is a lot bloodier than you think it is. It's a civil war. Eventually, once they beat the Greeks, Seleucidian Greeks, they went to war with each other. It was the Hellenistic Jews against the Orthodox Jews. It was the creation of the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Essenes, and I think I'm missing one. Probably am. I mean, this was the period where they took the scriptures that they had, said, okay, we need to codify this. We need to make this into we have to figure out what we're going to consider scripture and what we're not going to consider scripture. And we need to just basically make a book, which is called the Bible, even though the Bible actually means books. But anyway, that's where the Apocrypha comes from. That's where a lot of these legends come from. But anyway, it's taking longer than it should to finish this. It really is. Let's see. Oh, well, this one I got done a few weeks ago. 10-minute studies in movies, popular culture. I just did my top 10 favorite films that take place in December. Like Battle of the Bulls, Tora, A Christmas Carol, 1951, Alistair Sims, A Lion in Winter, A Christmas Story, The Christmas Truce. Trying to think I know I wrote other stuff down. Muppet Christmas Carol, things like that. It was just something fun and lighthearted to write, and I think I posted it on Christmas actually, or the day before. I have to check. But I got that one done. Once I got around to just getting it done, it was just fun, something fun, lighthearted to do, and I didn't want to do anything too serious. It's been a rough year. Let's see. Anyway, Falling Rain, I finally finished and posted, for which a certain media company has been shadow banning me since I posted it on Facebook. And believe me, I've been having problems with Facebook all pretty much for about 4 weeks now. But anyway, Falling Rain is about the October 7th events in Israel. It is unpleasant to write. It was unpleasant to write. It was difficult to write. It was not fun to write. It was unpleasant. I did not enjoy writing it, but I wanted to write it. I wanted to write this story of this guy who doesn't really have a Jewish connection, but all of a sudden realizes he does, or should. And because he is as Jewish as they come. He's not practicing, but all of a sudden his world is changing. All of a sudden his world is becoming very unstable and unpredictable, and he doesn't like it. And he's going through all these emotions and these feelings and these ideas in his head about, okay, what am I supposed to do? What kind of Jew am I really? I describe a lot of things. Probably partly why I got shadow banned. But whatever. Anyway, I like the story as much as it was painful to write. Falling Rain, it's already posted on my blog site. It is Desk of D.A. Sigler, WordPress, deskofdasigler.wordpress.com. That is my blog site, deskofdasigler.wordpress.com. The stories are there. Please read them, comment, share. But the short story Falling Rain, actually I started writing it when it was raining here. When it was pouring rain. I finally got it done in in December. And posted it, and I've had nothing but problems ever since. I'm not changing my mind. I know what Facebook is doing, and I know why. That was rude there. Anyway, but I like the story I like the story because I'm proud of the fact that it is a good story. I try to write them all good, but this one I'm proud of. I like this one. This one has emotions behind it. It has a sense of something behind it. But anyway. And, well, I started one called The Bucket List. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's about, my bucket list, but it's also about why I don't like tourism too much. Why I have a problem with tourism, why I have a problem with people who go to places just to mark them off a list, but they don't learn any history, they don't learn anything about the culture, they don't try to find out anything about the people. They just go there so they can say they've been there and mark it off a list. That's basically what this story is about. Oh, I just remember what the other story. I kept forgetting there was a story I was writing about. Yeah, I started it yesterday. Anyway, back to the bucket list. I'm not attacking anybody who goes anywhere, but I look at travel through the eyes of a historian, through the eyes of a writer. I do not go anywhere just so I can mark it off a list, so I can impress people. Tourists do that. I'm not a tourist. I don't know how to be a tourist. I worked in Orlando, Florida. I lived in Orlando, Florida for 11 years. Tourists are a pain in the butt. They are a pain in the earth. And they are. And I'm sorry, most of them are Americans. Sorry, but they are. And then Colombians. No. I worked with my dad at the store for 2 years. Two groups who were probably the worst were Americans and Colombians. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why. Mostly the Americans. The Colombians were, but not as badly as Americans were. Americans seem to think that they're entitled. I'm only half American, people. I'm half English and half American. As if that really mattered. The story I started yesterday, which I guess I could talk about later, but I started an idea. January 12th is National Kiss of Ginger Day. I love redheads. I adore redheads. Redheads are the greatest hair color that ever walked the earth. That's the Asian girls. Redheads are perfect. They're wonderful. They're dangerous. I like that. This story is supposed to be just a light-hearted little tale of two guys talking about redheads. One doesn't like them, and the other one adores them. You figure out which one I am. This is in rough draft form. It's still in my rough draft notebook. But anyway, this is taking a while. I'll probably do this next time. I'm gonna try to do this on the last day of the month, not into the next month for January stuff. But that's my writing. I mean, I should be more productive than I am. I'm annoyed. It wasn't a good year last year. I got in the way a lot of times. I got my own way way too much. I mean, I like writing up to a point. Sometimes I gotta make myself do it. It's not always fun. I think that's called being a writer. Anyway, please go to my blog site, deskofdasigler.wordpress.com. Read my stuff. Leave a comment. Share it if you want. Well, I don't know if you can share it though. I think only I can share it. But leave a comment. Hit at least like if you want to, if you please. I would appreciate it. I write about all kinds of things. My writing genre is everything. There's very little I will not write about, and there's very little I won't read. So therefore, there's very little I won't write about. But anyway, yes. I might do one more today. I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to do some writing on the bucket list. I'm gonna try to start typing it into the blog site. It's still it's blog site. But anyway, I can do that later. Anyway, behave yourselves, people, because I'm not going to. Take it easy. Have a good day. Later.